And we are live. Yeah. One more Tuesday, 8 p.m., basically set time. Today we have a special guest star. I'm calling him Maestro. And before I say anything, I want to introduce him on this way because I was thinking the whole day. A couple of years ago, when I was starting as a Microsoft trainer, basically they said there is a one person worldwide. He's really famous. Google it, you will figure it out who is that person. And I start googling how to become Microsoft trainer. Who is everywhere, guys? You will find on Google. Maestro Tiago Costa. That's our guest tonight, and I would like to welcome him on our show, basically today. Welcome, Tiago.
Thank you so much, Martin. I have to say a different kind of presentation.
Yeah.
but thanks for that. Yeah.
Indeed, in my sense, to be honest, also from the country where I'm coming, and also in another countries where when I was giving trainings, for example, in the last couple of years, whenever say, "Hey, you know Tiago?" I said, "Which Tiago? Tiago Costa, Tiago Costa, the trainer. It's everyone knows him. Yeah, I know him. I know. I chatted a couple of times on LinkedIn with him. I know him." But now I would say officially, this is our first time. I would say virtual meet between
hmm
me and you, and it's really my pleasure to guess you basically to share also with the audience one of my idols as a Microsoft trainer. I must say that publicly on the internet now. So we will have a video recording on that. So tomorrow, if I say something else, you can say, no, no,
No,
Martin.
no, no. Check the recording.
Indeed, indeed. Tiago is his idol. That's it, finally. I really appreciate. I want to thank you for all the work that you have done through the past couple of years. Basically, as I
Mhm.
said, everything that I know about Microsoft Trainer, for me, it's coming what you shared on the internet, what you provided as a guidance. Also, we know that when we get materials from Microsoft, some of them are written by you, if I may say like that. So a lot of things that you have done, I really appreciate that, mate,
The
and
the ones
really
the ones that
grateful.
you have to say the ones that are good. Okay.
All of them for me were really helpful and really helped me to become what I am today. Of course,
Mhm.
Microsoft Trainer and Azure MVP, but as a first site, it was Microsoft Trainer. And in the past also, you better know than me that there was less materials, not a lot of things like today we have. Just Google it, this and that, you will find also 5 results. But in the past was really not a case for that. And I really want to say officially from my top of my heart to say to you, thank you for everything that you have done so far, my friend.
Okay. Thank you so much. But yeah, you're right. Like before we had all this content, available on the internet, there were like uh, the older ones will know what I'm saying. Some binders that were like yellow binders,
Yeah,
that with paper, okay, that
yeah, yeah.
every time you went to a Microsoft training, you got that. Then the
Indeed.
binders turn like the sidebar turned blue.
Yeah,
So they started to be blue binders. I still have one of the blue binders over there. Uh,
yeah,
and then they started to be like just regular printed books. Okay, no binders
yeah,
anymore.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I
You
I
were
have
part
I have
also.
one there. I think it's a SQL
Yeah,
7. I think like administration SQL 7, the
yeah.
binder that I have there. And that, yeah, that was like super valuable because he had so much great content in a time that you didn't have that stuff like freely available on the internet. So you went
Indeed,
to a Microsoft training, you got that, you came out of it, and you would use that for sometimes years. Okay,
indeed.
when you had some questions or something, or you wanted to figure it out something, you always were going to use that as kind of a an ongoing kind of book for that
Indeed.
stuff. Yeah.
And now, if I may ask you, because you were part of that, I suppose, how was writing a book? You as a trainer, and I suppose a
Mhm.
couple of others, it was because it was not like today, Teams, I don't know, some other communication, Skype,
Uh,
whatever.
well,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
both sending an email, reviewer, and then some lecturer or something, I suppose, and all that stuff. Or
yeah. Well, when I wrote the course that was known as the 2532, which was
25.
the Azure developer, and
Okay.
the 2535, which was the Azure architect.
Okay.
And both of them were already on the time that you already had, yeah, we didn't have
Old.
teams, but we
Yeah.
already had some kind of sharing that we could use. And but it was pretty much email back and forth, to be totally honest. Was
Yeah.
pretty much like, hey, I will do this chapter, you do the other chapter. And
Okay.
we did some calls, but I don't even know in which technology
Yeah.
we did. I wrote the Azure Architect. I wrote with three other MCTs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we had kind of, it was pretty much by email, but I
Yeah.
think we had like a call to align and to clean up some
Wow.
stuff that we had. I think we did a call like in live meeting or Skype, something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. I honestly don't remember anymore.
Skype for
But yeah,
business, maybe.
yeah, maybe that. I honestly don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
But it was quite an experience also, because the quality that you had to put on that, and the amount of work that you had to put on that. And but the most important thing was knowing that your work, your slides, your
Indeed.
because we also build the slides, was not just the book. Your
Indeed.
slides, your book, your labs are going to be used by like thousands of people around the world to learn
Indeed.
Azure and the impact that you can have on this, because then those people will learn. They might teach this someday in the
Yeah.
future. They're going to implement this in the company. They're going to implement things in the company that will have an impact. Okay,
Okay.
in their colleagues, in their employees, and
Please. Indeed.
all of that. I think that's the most rewarding part of that job, to be honest, that we
Yeah.
did
And
there. Yeah.
imagine some mistake if you wrote, for example, some nonsense, if I may say, by.
Well, actually, not a mistake, but actually, we had
Okay.
was a funny thing is we built something, we built some slides, we launched,
Okay.
and there is a certain amount of time after you deliver everything until things actually get released.
Yeah.
And it was like a couple of months, so I think it was like 2 months, 2 months and a half. And in
Okay.
between, because we're talking about Azure, I think you
Indeed.
got what I'm saying. there
Indeed.
were there were some things that when we launched, they were not totally up to date anymore. It was not our fault, but yeah. But then we kind of did like a quick update, and the
Yeah.
update only took like a couple of weeks for them to update that. And we were able to launch that fix, very,
Nice.
very, very quickly. It was just like,
It-
two things, was not that serious.
Yeah.
I still remember one of them was like the disk sizes that we
Yeah.
had, because before we only had 1 terabyte
One. Indeed.
max,
Indeed.
and then they increased it to 4 terabytes. And so we had that as a mistake. We're saying one, and now it's four. Look, it's things like that everyone that trains and they know what they're talking about, they will say, hey, yeah, they put it, this is not up to date. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's the day of an Azure trainer. But sometimes we
Indeed.
do like to have precision on this, and so we
Yeah.
we we updated that, and that was okay. That was
Indeed.
fine.
Indeed. But even
Yeah.
now can happen. Let's be honest. The easier way is
Oh,
just edit and change whatever it is.
it
But it
it
can
it
happen.
it yeah, definitely it happens. Sometimes, I think we as MCTs that are on the field, we
Yeah.
kind of have the responsibility to try to reach out to the content authors and
Yeah.
just say, hey, look, this is not okay here, this is outdated. And then, the content authors and the authoring teams, now they are employees of Microsoft, they can now they can update their stuff, etc. I have the contact of a few. I
Yeah.
usually get reached out to them directly and say, hey, look, there's this, can you guys update this? And they say, oh yeah, thank you so much, Tiago, etc. But if I don't have, you should always go into the MCT lounge and in the forums,
Yeah.
just open something in the forums and say, so that there's like content courseware or something like that. Just go
Indeed.
there, open something there, and so that the teams actually they review that,
Indeed.
and they see, oh yeah, they comment and they say thank you for calling
Indeed.
out
Indeed.
that, because sometimes it's hard, to be honest, for them, because they have all their work plus this, and to keep this, and they don't have the capacity to be checking this every week. Oh, let's see if there's stuff that is outdated. No
Indeed.
one has that capability.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed. And if you give too much freedom, sometimes can get really, how to say, in the wrong direction. I have noticed that, I must be honest with you. So if you give too much freedom, for example, whoever wants to edit that and just, edit, so
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah. Exactly.
Indeed.
It's a big question if you should do that or not, because I honestly believe that you should, to be honest.
Yep.
And maybe having the stuff really available, like on for example, Markdown on GitHub, something like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
Indeed.
then you could go there, just do like a pull request, you fork it, you do a pull request, you do the changes, and then through
Yeah,
the pull request you send your updates, and then the content team just needed to basically to accept that.
indeed.
It's okay for, like, if you're talking about like Markdown content, but then we have slides, and
A lot.
it's slides is a blob, and it's going to start to be harder, to have a
Indeed.
process. Not impossible, okay, but
Yes, that's true.
it's a little bit harder to do that for for all the slide content, etc. So yeah, it's not easy. Look, not going to lie to that. It's a little bit
Indeed.
hard to keep things up to date, but it's like I said, it's also your responsibility as an MCT to deal with it.
Indeed.
And look, if you see something that is outdated, update the slides yourself, okay?
Indeed.
And just usually I put, like, a by the way, like a tip for all the other trainers. I always put like a red ball on the
Yeah,
top corner, like one of the corners. And I tell my students, hey, if you see this means that I updated the slide, okay? And I will let you know
yeah,
what it is. And when the slide gets, oh yeah, this, and look, for example, I have a slide on the AZ400 that we talk about the self-hosted agents for Azure pipelines, that um, they only have a few. So they're
yeah,
missing the latest ones. And every time I was showing that, I was always needing to go to the website. Hey, this is the ones that we have now, not
yeah, yeah.
this ones. Then I was like, let me just update the slide, because they are not
Indeed.
updating the slides. I already told them,
Indeed.
but they were not updating the slides. So I was just like, yeah, look, whatever. I'll just update my slide. It's not a problem to update the slides with this kind of stuff. Microsoft is okay with that. Okay, so you can
Yeah,
do it. I
yeah.
always like to say, look, I updated this so that my students know it's an
Are
updated
aware.
slide,
Yeah,
because
what is that?
sometimes
Indeed.
sometimes on Learn there is the pictures that you see on the
Yeah,
slides over there,
yeah,
so that they
yeah.
don't see something there and something on my slides and they find it weird. Yeah, I just let them know that.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, to be honest. And as you said, I would say, I'm saying very often, we are the face in front of the people from Microsoft, if I may say. Yeah,
Hmm.
we are not official employees of Microsoft. We are Microsoft trainers, but we are the first, how it's called, the first guard there that
Yeah.
need to show basically what is happening, where is going, why is this happening, and so on and so on. And yeah, because of the NDA, we will not talk and going deep dive on that. But I want to say, yeah, also for the people that watching, that we are not crying, but just showing how much responsibility, as Tiago mentioned, we have as a first level of support. Let's call it like that. Yeah, the people coming, hey, tell me about this, about that. Where can I find this? Why here is like this? Why here is like that? Basically, 2 weeks ago, I have couple of trainings about Copilot and all the stuff, and it's changing really every day. Something new is popping up, and basically that's why I also asked you this question, if I may be honest with you, because the student is coming, hey, but here it's written something else.
Yeah.
So now who is correct, And you will say, but look, it's changing really fast, It's not that this is the final version. Tonight, maybe in 2 hours from now, we will have something else. That is how it's working and what is happening. But that's
No,
really nice to hear, indeed.
no,
Sorry.
it's definitely, like teaching things like Copilot, that there's so many changes. And then teaching AI is quite a fun one, because I'm teaching. I used to work with AI a lot, so,
Yeah,
and I teach AI. And one of the things, I built a course on AI, and I had
yeah,
someone complaining about that. Hey, I use the prompts that you have there, and I don't get the same results as you. And I was like, well, I was like, my God, is this person actually teaching this? So, like, of course not. It's not supposed to. Got it.
Indeed.
And so it's really important. This is just to say something that if you really know your topic, you can handle it. Okay,
Indeed.
definitely. And there is something that's not updated, you will notice, and you will know this is not okay, and you know how to fix it immediately. Okay. If you ask me, Tiago, can you teach, I don't know, let's imagine dynamics.
Yeah.
If I see something wrong on the slides, I will just say that that's what's in the slide, because I
Indeed.
don't know anything about dynamics. I just know what it does. Okay, and that's already a lot for me. But if it is something that you're actually a SME on that, so a subject matter expert on that, look,
Yeah.
you should be good to go. There's not a problem on that. And that's something that I always let everyone. Sometimes MCTs come to me, or people that want to train, and it's like, Tiago, I really want to become a trainer, blah blah blah. What should you think it's the easiest thing to train on? I was like, well, what you know. Right, it's that.
What's your topic? I think you
Yeah,
already mentioned it, if I may
exactly.
say
What
like
you
that.
work on a daily basis, you will have amazing experience to share in the classroom, and and all of that. This is why, for example, myself, uh, and this is just a personal, okay,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
preference.
Clear.
Okay, I'm not saying this is the right way, or this is the only way, or something like that.
Yeah.
Far from that. But what I say is, I cannot be just a trainer. Okay, never. I'm a
True.
trainer and I'm also a consultant. So I basically work and do a lot of work as a cloud and AI architect.
Yeah.
And I help companies, moving to the cloud, moving to Azure,
Yeah.
building cloud native solutions, by like all of that stuff. And then I can bring and I gain so much experience on that. Okay. So for example, I was not teaching AVD, so Azure Virtual
Yeah.
Desktop, because I
Indeed.
never had update, never had work with it. I knew what it was. Yeah, I did the AVD lab. Sure, I
Yeah.
took the certification even, and I passed with like 900 and something on that exam. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I know this, but I was not teaching it. And everyone will say, why don't you teach this, Tiago? Because I don't have real world experience, with this. So what kind of examples? And there's like a lot of little things that, look, I don't know. But
Indeed.
then, I had the opportunity a couple of years to do like a very large project with AVD, and
Yeah.
I gained loads of experience. I did
Yeah.
a couple more smaller ones with
Yeah.
AVD, and yeah, the other day I was teaching AVD, and it was a fun course to teach. Definitely a different course to teach,
Indeed.
but yeah, pretty funny, because I was able to answer all my student questions without having the need to check and all that. So
Yeah.
that's always nice. And this just to say, teach what you know. And also,
Indeed.
there's also other people that ask me, hey, Tiago, should I become a more generic, you know,
Yeah.
trainer, or
Yeah.
should I focus on like a niche? Well, if you focus on the niche, look, you can become pretty good on that. Definitely, you'll be
True.
the person, for that. And this is why some years ago, many years ago, I started to focus on Azure, because that was a niche back then. Okay, I
Indeed.
know today it's not a niche, but you have to focus. I'm saying this was like 10 years, 11 years ago. That
Indeed.
was definitely a niche. There was not that much work on it, but I was just, let me focus on this. And with time, more work
Yeah.
came. And because you start to be a reference for your customers on how to teach that stuff,
That.
when they have things about that, they just reach out to you. Okay.
Indeed.
And then you also have another advantage, is that, for example, myself now, and I'm not saying this as a, don't get me wrong, like as a cocky person or something,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I don't need to do that much prep for my classes anymore, because I already know the material. Of course,
Yeah.
when Microsoft remembers, oh, let's do a major update on this, I'm like, oh my God. And then I need to spend a whole weekend here, just
Yeah. Yeah.
checking the stuff, doing all the labs again, and all that. Sure, it it's the life of a trainer.
Indeed.
But the rest of the stuff, you just need to review. Okay, yeah, this slide, we talk about this, and then we talk about that, and that's it. If you teach like all the courses, you have to do deep, okay, prep like all the time.
True.
So that's why I
True.
always tell people, try to find your niche. There's so many. There's Power
Indeed.
Platform. That's amazing what you can do with it. There is Microsoft 365. There are people that only do Teams stuff.
Indeed.
Okay,
Indeed.
and I know a
Indeed.
couple. They only do
Yeah.
Teams. You ask them, hey, can you do generic M365 stuff? No, my thing is Teams.
Teams.
But
Indeed.
look, if you have something on Teams and you talk with them, they know everything, like
True.
literally everything. One of those persons, they have like a Teams room at home in his office. Okay,
Wow.
like with all the
Wow.
devices and all the screen things, etc.
The meeting room
That
and all that
person
stuff.
knows literally everything that you know about Teams. Okay, it's amazing. Uh, that's what you get, because you start
Indeed.
to be super specialized, on something. Okay, I have a person, for example, that she only does security, but identity security. So
Okay.
just that,
Okay.
she
Yeah.
doesn't do
Indeed.
anything else. Okay, so I'm
Indeed.
like, yeah, and that's like,
Agree.
that specialization that we
Nice.
were talking about.
Nice, nice, nice. This is nice, and I really like what you said now, to be honest. Also, on the trainings, I think you have seen more than me, but in my experiences, people are coming, yeah, Martin, we see Microsoft Learn, it's free material, you're sharing all the time. But where should we start? It's really complicated. And usually, yeah, guys, you have Azure, you have AWV, Azure Virtual Desktop, you have Office 365, you have Teams, you have bunch of stuff. You just need to say, I want to be this. That's your only wish, if I may say like that. And you can start clicking there and basically
Mhm.
go through the material and see where you want to focus, what makes you happy, if I may say like that.
Yeah.
So indeed, completely agree with you. I will back you a little bit in the time. When Tiago started to become something like IT, what was his first computer? I must ask you that question.
Um, it's our, let's say the first computer that I had access to was a 8088 with an
Eight.
amber screen. Those amber screens that, because that computer run an accounting software all
Okay.
day long, and it was those CRT screens. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
and because it was amber, it had like, I think it was like phosphorus on the
Yeah.
screen
Okay.
or something like that, and the lines of the menus of the accounting software burn there. So even if you turn the screen off, you unplug it from the electricity for days, you could still see the lines on the
Eh,
screen because the screen was burned after a few years. Okay, so that was the first contact, but I was pretty young and didn't did that much on that. Probably the one that I had for me
Yeah.
was the 386.
Oh, with the
Probably,
Turbo 486 with
yeah.
the
No,
turbo
no,
button.
no. Still, we
No.
still didn't have that. No, 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 no. Turbo came later. Okay.
Okay. The
Uh,
next version,
yeah. The
486
next,
to became 586. Indeed. Indeed.
yeah,
Indeed.
486, I think, was the ones that had the turbo, and
Indeed.
then later on, I upgraded that to something better, and then to something better, and that's basically where I kind of how I kind of started. Okay. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
computer, I think I was still like in secondary school or something like that, but
Yeah.
like very young, like the beginning of secondary school,
Yeah. Yeah.
seventh grade, eighth grade, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And I basically, one day, my parents got home, and my parents, by the way, I'm at home, and they are
Yeah.
here, and that is in the
Uh,
other you could come here and vouch for that.
indeed. Indeed.
That it's just, my dad came home and just look at the computer, and I had to disassemble all the computer. Okay, everything. I opened the thing and started to
Indeed.
figure it out how it worked. Yeah,
Wow.
that was it. My dad was like, because we're talking about other times,
Indeed.
and
Indeed.
my family was not rich by far. Okay, so
No.
we struggle a
But in
lot,
that period, Tiago,
and
I
then and
remember
then
on.
they did,
Yeah.
yeah, they did a huge effort to buy me a
Indeed.
computer. Okay, which
Okay.
today I think they did well.
Yeah.
But my dad gets there and see a super expensive thing, was like the most expensive thing that they ever bought. Okay, all
Indeed.
disassembled on top of my bed.
Indeed.
in the floor and on the desks and stuff like that. It was not easy. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
I
I completely
as a
agree.
parent nowadays,
Yeah,
I totally understand how mad my dad was with me
indeed.
back then. But well, we were able to assemble everything. Still work.
Yeah,
Okay. There's still some parts that I didn't figure it out where they were, but it
yeah.
still worked. So, yeah, okay, that was fine, and it
Nice.
worked for many years. Okay, and I
Indeed.
started to learn how it works. So it was fun.
Yeah, indeed. And for me, it was I just want to connect on your story. I must be honest. It was not about, yeah, we know, all of us know from where we're coming from and how much
Mhm.
money our parents have. For me, was the same. I got 486, if I may say like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
my first was Pascal, and the
yeah.
friends when they will come, press turbo. You know, the Pascal will start working a little bit faster.
Master,
But I
yeah,
want to indeed, but I want to say, you know, even in that period, the computers was really crazy expensive, if I may say like that, because it was completely new for the world, if I
yeah,
let's call it like that. Because this was, you have a monitor, you have how it says, all the configuration with the CPU, RAM memory, and all that stuff. And I think it was, there was no parent that can say, yeah, I have enough money to buy this computer, because it was really big amount
yeah.
of money
And
if you want to buy.
having a computer is not the essential thing that it is today. Okay, today it's like
Indeed,
you have to have one. Period. Okay, so
indeed.
and there is, let's be honest, there's still some people that struggle. Okay, don't get me
True,
wrong, but
true.
it's so much easier to get access to a computer nowadays because you have, sure, there are computers that, like laptops, that can cost
Yeah,
5-6 grand. Okay, definitely.
indeed.
But let's be honest, maybe you need that, I maybe need that. Okay, a computer like that, because we're
Yeah,
professionals and we work with this.
yeah,
But let's be honest, the regular person that wants to do like some documents and some light work, go to the
indeed,
internet, buy some stuff on Amazon, etc. Does that person needs that? Of course he doesn't need that.
indeed.
Okay, like I even tell everyone, look, get a Mac Mini. The Mac Mini that they just launched.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like in Europe, it's like 700 euros. Okay,
True.
for 700 euros. Look, I'm not a Mac fan by far. Okay,
Yeah,
but 700 euros, you just buy it, you connect some cables to a screen, a keyboard, and you're good to go.
yeah, indeed,
Look, amazing. Where I
indeed.
recommend those nukes, that you have from
Yeah,
Intel and from Asus. Look, but then, those, I always tell people, just buy one that already has the RAM and the hard drive plugged in, because people don't know how to do that part. Okay,
indeed.
that's the thing. That's
True.
why Mac Mini is great, because they can just run it and that's it. But I just bought that, by the way, that a new
Yeah,
Asus for a friend of mine. And during the weekend, I just plugged a hard drive, like a 256 hard drive, 2 sticks of RAM, so
yeah,
32 gigs of RAM, and he has like an i5, or it was not an i5. It's something else. Okay, that they have
yeah,
for
yeah,
those.
yeah,
It's the
yeah,
equivalent of an i5, and I think it spent like 600 ish
yeah,
euros on all that. Okay, and basically we install, we bought a license of Windows also on that, so it was like 600 and ish. And
indeed.
he has a machine, okay,
So you
that
can
that
do
that he
anything.
can, yeah, it's for his house, for the kids, and for doing like homeworks and stuff like this. He didn't want it in a laptop, he just wanted something there. And it's so
Yeah,
small, you can even plug it in the back of the screen.
yeah,
Okay, look, perfect, perfect machines, and it's cheap
indeed.
to have access to this. You don't need more than this, let's be honest. If you
True,
work with it, yeah, but there's prices for everyone. That's the
true.
beauty of that.
That's true. That's true, and I completely agree. I mean, there is still people, as you said. I have seen people, yeah, with the gaming computers, how they were called, the model, I don't even know. No, Armor, no, there was something like that. No, it doesn't matter.
Alienware.
Alienware. The people are using just for emails, but because the computer
Yeah,
was 10,000 euros or something, they bought it at home, like a big screen with a. What you're doing? Do you play some games? Really? yeah, I have a lot of work, Outlook, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I said, oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay, that's, it's okay.
I I once was in a like in a it's like a supermarket that they sell
Yeah,
computers, okay, like a electronics shop,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and there was like a dad and a kid, and basically the parent was asking to the person in the shop, hey, need a computer, but it's just to do like some light school work, blah 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 blah. And then the guy advises them to buy an Alienware, and I was like, oh my god.
For
And I'm
homework.
like, my god, it's just like you don't know if the people can afford that or not. It's like I couldn't stop myself, and when the person from the shop went away, I said, hey, look, I work in IT. To be totally honest, if you want this to play games, that's an amazing computer. But that's just
Indeed.
too expensive. Just buy something that has at least this specs, and you should be more than good for what you want for the computer. Because if you want the computer
Indeed.
to do something else, look, then it doesn't work. But to be honest, your kid is young, he's probably going to play some light games, because the kid was like 9 years. So it's like you don't need that machine, okay? Then you save some money, and then when he's older, like in 4 years, you probably will
You
need
can
to buy
buy.
you need to buy
Indeed.
that computer, okay? But the new
Indeed.
generation, the new version of that machine, okay? So yeah,
Yeah.
but that's it's what you say, like buying those things and then just doing emailing. It's like, what the hell, right? Just why
Indeed.
do you spend so much money on
I
that?
have one
But yeah.
joke. In 2015, I will interrupt you here. In 2015, I was DevOps engineer for one Switzerland company, la la la. And then new secretary is coming, and they said, Martin, you're IT. Can you please order this online from some Switzerland store? Here are the stores,
Mhm.
top five. The secretary asked in that period, I'm talking, Core 2 Duo, 16 gigabytes of RAM memory, and this. And the company owner said, Martin, what this lady will do, this is too much expensive when I show her the price about that
Yeah,
configuration.
yeah,
I said, boss, I really don't know, but this is crazy that the secretary wants this. I don't have this computer. I don't know how.
yeah.
Yeah, but her son wrote it down that this configuration is recommended for her work and all that stuff. I think her son wants to use this computer to play games at home. There is nothing more than that. And then we discussed and said, look, I really don't understand. My son wrote it down. Yeah, he's playing games and la la la. So there is this type of stories everywhere, if I may say like that, which is
Oh
quite
no,
funny.
definitely. Look,
Indeed,
it's
indeed,
it happens all the time everywhere. But yeah,
indeed,
yeah, but
indeed.
no, but basically that was my first computer. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how
And,
I
did
that's
you
how I
start the
kind of get
Pascal? I
started.
must ask you. Did you start the Pascal with Pascal, or you start with
No,
something
no,
else?
Clipper.
For
Yeah,
wow.
that was kind of the first programming language that I started with. Then I did some Pascal,
Yeah.
assembler,
Yeah.
what more? Delphi, but
Delphi. Delphi. Yeah.
Delphi is, yeah, it's basically Pascal for visual applications.
Indeed. Indeed.
Um, then what more? Oh, yes. Then I work with C, C++, and then Visual C++,
Visual. Indeed.
which not that many people know what that is. Yeah, I don't have it there. And there's an amazing book that I have from McGraw-Hill that
Yeah.
taught me everything I need to know about Visual C++, which was like freaking hard. Okay, you have some classes called the MFC classes, which was
Yeah.
Microsoft Foundation classes, something like that.
Yeah. True.
It starts to get back.
Yeah.
And yeah, my God, I struggle so much with that. To
On the
figure it out.
beginning,
And
for me, it
yeah,
was the same. Include this library, include other library, because
yeah.
everything need to
and
define.
and I think the worst part was the paradigm was also a shift, from procedure to an object oriented.
Yeah.
It was not
Yes.
just the language that you have changed; it's also that. So yeah, it was really really hard to to do the shift. But look, we work in IT. That's kind of our
Indeed.
life, and
Indeed.
we made it. And then after that, I also work a lot with VB. So Visual
VB
Basic,
basic, indeed.
yeah. Did some consulting work out in a company with VB4. Then
Ooh.
6, I don't remember to do anything with 5, to be honest. But
Yeah.
4 and 6 was the ones that I
So
touch. And then I was lucky
okay.
because my company, was invited to work directly with Microsoft to build .NET. So we
Wow.
kind of helped building .NET together with Microsoft. So I had early
Ooh.
access and all of that. I was not an
All the
MVP,
books, I
but
suppose, all the books
but
and all that CDs in that
but
period.
yeah, we got like all the early access for stuff. And when I saw C Sharp, I was like, wow, this is awesome. But we still did some stuff in VB.net at first, because
Yeah,
we came from VB, so was kind of the
indeed.
easy path. You get the idea, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then we immediately said, no, this is going to be the language. This is so much better. And we started to work with C Sharp. So when they released .NET, the GA version of .NET, we're already using it for some time.
Yeah.
And that was pretty, yeah, that was a very, very interesting project. And that's where I
Yeah.
saw and started to see, this programs that we had inside Microsoft,
Nah,
like the MVP program and all this
indeed.
this stuff that was like, wow, this is nice. So
It's interesting. It's happening. Let's call
yeah,
it like
yeah.
that. Did you catch a little bit Java after C++? I must ask you because for me, for example, the
No,
transition C++, and then immediately was Java, if I may say like
no,
that. No,
never.
not at all.
I touch in Java, but just to
Yeah,
play
yeah, a
around with
little.
it,
Yeah, yeah,
etc.
yeah,
But
yeah,
not not
indeed.
not actual work. Okay, never did anything with Java. So, and lately I've been doing Python, of course. You have to.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed, indeed. That's true.
Everyone is doing stuff in Python, right? But basically that's it. Not that
In
very
that
attractive.
period, may I ask you now, just thinking loud with you, because you said you started
Mhm.
Clipper, Pascal, Delphi a little bit, Visual Basic, VB46. Do you started as a developer or you started more on the Windows-oriented side, if I may ask you like
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So I started as an IT admin. Okay.
IT. Okay, yeah.
But I was always doing some coding, etc. And then I found out that the company I was working, they paid a lot more to developers. So I was like, I went to the dev side of things, to be honest. Because it's not that I didn't like what I was doing. I loved what I was doing, but I
Yeah,
also liked the code. To be honest, I was like, I love both. But
indeed.
in that time, there was a big division between developers and IT pros, so I had to make a
Yeah.
choice. And to be honest, I like to do both. This pays like, but it was like a huge difference. It was like 60% more. Got it? Was not
Ooh.
just a little bit more. So I was like, I'm going to do this. Um, they did an internal interview. They said, oh yeah, well, you know your stuff. You already know the company. Boom, we want you. And I started to do dev, and I did dev stuff for a lot of time. Then I switched to I started to do a lot of stuff also on SharePoint,
Nice.
and like including customizations, etc. And because I had that huge background as an IT pro too, I was able to touch in a lot of parts of SharePoint because there was no one that knew SharePoint back then,
Indeed.
and I was able to get the admin and the dev part of SharePoint, and that was massively important. And then I started to grow, okay, based on that, and start to get more responsibilities and things like that
Indeed.
when I was working with SharePoint. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I must be honest, a couple of years ago, I touched SharePoint development. Never
Hmm.
touched in my life, by the way. I was working for a company with Microsoft Dynamics and all that stuff. It was solutions for the companies, and I was installing from scratch Dynamics, this, and basically I didn't know that it is included in the ERP system, the SharePoint
Yeah.
itself, so they can see all the stuff. I never knew about that, to be honest. This is happening 2015, 16. And to be honest, how much in the development side, oh, that's Tiago, mate, that's completely different world, if I may say, as a
Yeah.
developer. If you want to develop SharePoint thing, SharePoint extension or whatever, that's completely, yeah. .NET is here, SharePoint, yeah, go left. SharePoint is there, different
It
side. You need,
Look, you need to be dedicated to that. Period.
indeed,
It's
indeed,
like it's like look, I did some projects in the past on that were
yeah,
like oh, we have this amazing development team and they are going to do the extensibility stuff for that. I was like, okay, wait. Do you have a SharePoint development team? No. They are devs, but they know Microsoft stuff pretty well. I was
True.
like, that's not going to work. Of course, I said this. They were not from my company. They were from another different supplier. And well, guess what? It didn't work out because they were like struggling like a lot. And then the customer, I told the customer, like, I don't want to say that I don't want to be that guy, but I
Indeed.
told you so, and I point the finger at you, okay? Because it's I don't want to be that guy, but I have to, okay? So because it's actually like what you said, it's a totally different beast. Look, I've been working with SharePoint since it got released. It was called SharePoint Portal Server,
Porto. Okay.
and I did I don't know which versions anymore, 2003, 2007,
Ooh.
2010,
Yeah. Yeah.
2013, and then that's where I still saw 2016, and I did
Yeah.
a couple of installations and migrations to 2016, but that's where I stopped. Okay,
Ah,
it
okay.
was I
Yeah.
never did that much stuff with 2016, and then from
Indeed.
there on I never even touched it. Okay, to be totally honest, I see some
Indeed.
customers, they have it. I'm like, look at it. The most near that I was with SharePoint in the past years was in a customer
Yeah.
that, for all the audience, please don't comment on this now, okay? Just assume and just say okay and move on. But they move their SharePoint farm, which is quite complex, is about 25
Indeed.
different servers,
Yes.
into Azure as virtual machines.
Wow.
Just say yes, Martin. I told you.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
makes all the
Yes.
sense. It does not, okay? But they did it, and that was I had to design all the architecture for that in Azure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's the most fun part. But I didn't touch on the thing. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but it's
25. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
No,
Okay.
but it's SharePoint is like quite complex. You know what you have
Is a
with it.
solution. Indeed.
Exactly, and not that many people know that. I'm fortunate because I used to be an MVP exactly for
Yeah.
SharePoint. That's how I started, and I know all the gurus of SharePoint
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
still keep working with SharePoint. And one of them is I can call it my personal friend and everything, and the guy knows SharePoint like a lot.
In his
Uh,
dreams.
yeah, he already knew SharePoint quite well when we were, both working with it, but I stopped working with it. I moved to Azure. He
Yeah.
kept going, so he is like still learning.
Indeed.
Okay, and yeah, it's
Wow.
like I said. And now you also have SharePoint Online, and you have, which is different. You
Awesome.
have SharePoint Embedded, uh, there's SharePoint subscription. There's like lots of
Indeed.
different flavors
Indeed.
of SharePoint.
Indeed.
Yeah.
For those who never installed the local SharePoint, then the struggle is real, I'm calling it, to be honest with you. So it's really a complex and all that stuff. Small thing, if it's not configured, yeah, error. 404 not found. Sorry, the farm is not configured, something in the background. So you need to check that and all the stuff. Indeed, indeed. What I really like with the SharePoint, to be honest, to connect the story, what you said, so far I'm really happy what Microsoft is doing now. Not to make free advertisement, SharePoint guys, you're the best, but that is everything connected through the Office 365, which I really like it, to be honest. OneDrive, SharePoint, Word, Excel, whatever you use from the Office 365 package, it's quite connected. And basically, I really like it. You don't need to re-upload the document, re-upload that, share this here, share that there, which I really like it, to be honest, with you, with this SharePoint, which I think it was a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, when they updated this whole of the permissions and all that stuff, which is quite nice so far. Nice. Do you start after this development because you were developing? Do you get bored a little bit and start with Windows servers or something, or you continue to do the .NET stuff, if I may say like that?
It's basically I did start to do like the SharePoint stuff, and then
Yeah.
I had to do the admin and the dev part, and then I switched to cloud, this new thing that's here called cloud. I started to learn about it, and I said, this is nice, and I jumped into that boat. And since then, that has been my life.
Yeah,
That's my focus, is architecting solutions, to Azure.
yeah,
That's mainly like 90% of my consulting job. But I am a very hands-on person,
yeah,
and I keep doing some .NET, some Python from time
yeah.
to time. Uh, and I have
When
a bunch
Tiago
of
have time, just
a
to
bunch,
explain to that,
yeah,
when Tiago have time,
and I have a bunch of pet projects that I do too. But technically, like talking about doing this with customers, I don't have that much time to actually touch on the thing. There are people,
indeed.
I have teams, and they are the ones that actually have all the fun, you
Yeah,
know touching on code and doing that stuff. I'm more, uh you know even customers, they don't want me to touch that much on the code. They say, hey, no, Tiago, we want your experience
yeah,
in designing, in architecting, because that's where you bring the most value. And I'm
yeah,
like, hey, yeah, sure. And I agree, it makes sense. And I help them, with DevOps, with GitHub, with
yeah,
Azure, with AI stuff. And I sometimes I have to touch when they cannot do something, when they
yeah,
are having a problem. Or usually I do like some workshops for them. Like, imagine we're going to do, like, for example, the Friday, I think I have to do a
yeah,
workshop on Azure OpenAI. We have a
yeah,
project in a customer, they never touch on Azure OpenAI, and I have a dev team that I want them to integrate some stuff with Azure OpenAI. I already have all the planning done for them. Tell them this is what you have to do. They're not touching on the AI stuff. They are just merely going to do some calls, but I need to know them and teach them the SDK and all that. So
yeah,
instead of showing, look, there's the documentation, figure it out, I prefer to do like a half day, me doing demos to them, just some
yeah,
slides and doing demos and explaining what they're going to deal with. And then in
yeah.
the afternoon, we do like a project together so that we learn all together. And then, they are way more prepped to do the work and be better
Indeed.
at writing all the code, that it's like loads of stuff that they need to write. But they are the ones that they're super hands on that.
Yeah,
They will do it much faster than I will do it. Okay, I can do it, sure, but because I'm
it will
not
take more
so
time.
in, yeah, because I'm not so the routine of doing this, I'm not into it. It will take me probably like the double of the time than someone
True,
from the team. That's the thing.
true.
So in recap, yeah, I don't have that much fun anymore with code, due to doing other stuff, but still do it from time to time so that I don't forget, and I like to
Yeah.
always touch on things, etc. Yeah.
Indeed. Sometimes when the friends ask when you do that, yeah, sometimes when I switch flights, I have 2 hours so I can sit there instead of, I don't know, to be confused. I will start do some stuff, reading material and all that stuff, to be honest. So that helps a lot. And I know you are changing a lot of flights. So maybe a good tip for you. So you can use a tablet or Surface, something, whatever you have, so you can read a little bit and do the stuff. Indeed. What was your first certificate? Let me ask you that.
SQL.
Microsoft SQL?
Yep. SQL
Wow.
7 administration.
SQL. Wow. That's really long time ago, if I may be honest.
It was a long
It
time
is.
ago.
It was. It.
Yeah.
But what I'm curious now, you didn't mention that you have been working SQL
Yeah. I did some work in the beginning of my career with
on the
SQL. Yeah.
beginning. Oh, okay. Yeah, because as a developer and these tools that you said, .NET and all that stuff, when it was starting, the primary connection string was with the SQL, if I remember good.
Not even primary was the only one. Everyone was doing .NET or beginning of .NET and VBs. It was SQL, the database. That was it.
That
Okay, you
was it,
could you
indeed.
could connect to other sources, data
Yeah.
sources, but 99 point something percent of the projects were, if you use this, you're going to use SQL Server.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Indeed,
yeah, yeah,
indeed, indeed. That's true. Nice, nice to hear. How long you're Microsoft trainer? I want to ask.
That's a good question. Let me see here. I think it's about 19 years now, or 18, something like that. But we
I
can.
was saying 15.
It's more than 15 because I have a
More?
jacket. more than
Oh
15
yeah,
for sure, because I have a jacket that says 15
yeah.
years, and I have that for some years now. So it
Oh,
is it is more than 15,
for sure. Yeah,
definitely for sure. But I'm actually loading my transcript here on the other screen.
yeah.
So
Okay,
let
okay,
me have a
okay,
look here. So where we can
okay.
see this
If
modules
you have long,
completed.
so 20 years, I think. Next year it's 20 years. 2025. It will be 20 years. Tiago is a Microsoft trainer, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a problem with the site because this is not loading anything. Ah, damn it, I'm in the wrong account. Sorry. Because it was loading. I didn't have any certifications, and I'm like, what?
What happened? Who starts
Yeah. Because
production database?
I was like, I think I have a few. Okay. So if we go here under this, and we can see that trainer. So I got my trainer in 2006.
2006.
So
18.
18 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Actually,
Wow.
this month. Okay. Not
Yeah.
today. I'm still a few
Yeah, yeah,
days
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice. Nice. 18 years of experience.
Yeah.
What was your first training that you provided to customers, to students?
Honestly,
SQL?
I think was a sequel 2000 class.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember the code. It was just a 4-digit code back then, but I think it was the 2072. Okay, which was
207.
SQL
Yeah, yeah.
administration.
Patient. Yeah. And how it works, for example, I'm just curious now. You go to some company, some educational center, and how you get the labs, for example. How was the labs in that time? Now we
Oh,
have all the virtualization. How was the labs, because the people will never understand that, because when they come on training, we send two links. Register here. This is the Azure key or password. Sign up. That's it.
give me 1 second.
You have five.
I'll grab something to explain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah,
give me
yeah,
one
yeah,
second.
yeah, yeah, indeed. Oh, funny stuff. Funny stuff.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Let me just turn my camera on. So when you got to a training center, you had a book like this. Okay, so that's the course. That's the first course that I taught.
Indeed, indeed.
272A. This has, by the way, something that a lot of you don't know: CD.
Indeed.
Okay, that had like some
Yeah.
content of the course.
Yeah.
Okay, etc., etc., etc. And then, through the book, you have like content, of course.
Yeah.
And then, oh, there you go. And then you have a lab.
Indeed.
So that people know. Lab, see? Lab A, SQL Server overview.
Even
then
the picture is the IBM computer, if I may say, with the under that.
and then you have something like this. Using SQL Server Develop. And then you have like steps. See?
Wow. Where to click, indeed.
And then people were like with this in their desks. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were basically doing the labs from here in their computers. The computer was in the room, and we had to prep those computers. Okay. So there were no virtual machines yet for this.
Indeed.
And you actually had like an installation manual that was like a PDF that they gave us.
Yeah.
That was like huge for you to prepare the room. What some training companies did, because they were professional training things.
Yeah.
They have like golden images of the course that they kept in caddies. Those no. In hard drives. You remember those caddies that you put in front of the computers?
Yeah.
So with caddies, and they just needed to. How many students do we have? 10. So they just took that and they created, 10 caddies with hard drives that they had, and they go to these rooms and they plugged them in, and then they had to fix like the IP addresses and stuff like that. So that stuff had
Oh,
communications and things like that. It was tough. Okay. Later on, when virtual machines started to show up, yeah, look,
easy,
Hyper-V
easy.
and virtual server for Microsoft, and the
Yeah,
preparation of the rooms was way smoother. I even built something for a local training company that we had like a server,
yeah,
with all the virtual machines for the
yeah,
courses,
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
and
true.
I built the PowerShell script that you will just launch the PowerShell and you say, "Oh, what course do you want? I want this course,"
Yeah.
and it just
Imports
started
whatever is
to,
needed. Yeah.
yeah, it started to install
No.
that course in that on that machine, and then we even scaled that to do all the room and integrated that with the calendar that we had. And look, we did amazing things on that on that on that part. Yeah, 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 it was fun.
Indeed,
But yeah,
indeed.
so this is how you do it. And there is
Indeed.
there is an older version of this, which is some binders. I have one
Yeah,
there, but it's
yeah.
too high for me to grab it, to be honest. I needed my letter. And there were some yellow binders. The yellow binders are the first ones, okay, that we had.
Oh, those are the first ones.
It's like a binder,
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
sheets of,
yeah.
those were the first ones. Okay,
Oh,
this is already pretty new.
yeah.
Yeah, server 2000. So you see
Indeed,
how
indeed.
old still is.
Yeah,
Okay.
didn't catch the one what you were showing. I have seen that, of course, but I catch the Windows Server 2003 when you need to mount all the VHDs that were provided. Basically, the
Yeah.
training company, as you said, or we as a trainers need to download that to print the manual because you will basically not destroy, but you need to turn off the computer, attach the VHD, and basically to configure all the stuff. So tomorrow when the student will arrive, he will have a Windows server or whatever there,
Yeah.
and basically he will start configuring basically to destroy the Windows
I'm
server.
still yeah, I'm still from the time that we went to the training centers on Sunday or Saturday to set up the room.
Indeed,
Okay, because the
indeed,
rooms were
indeed.
still taken until like Friday, or we stay there Friday night. Okay, if
Yeah,
we're teaching, because we're teaching on
yeah,
Friday, and then
yeah.
Friday night we stay there so that we prep the room so that we didn't have to go there during the weekend. And
Indeed.
sometimes, look, we were in rooms, all the trainers. It was always fun, but yeah, it was the time to do that.
True.
Today, for people that are watching this and are not Microsoft certified trainers, there's something called lab providers that
Yeah.
companies just go there. Hey, I need this lab for this amount of students, and they give us a code, and we give a code, and you just need to use the browser. You can use your machine if you want, and you just use the
Whatever.
browser, and you have a
Indeed.
VM in an environment somewhere. You don't even need to know where it is, and everything is set up for you. Got it? Like with all the prereqs, all the installed software, literally everything. Back in the
Indeed.
days, we had to install the stuff, and then sometimes, it needs to be this, but it needs to be this version because the other version already doesn't work
That's the word.
because of something. Oh my god!
Crazy stuff. That's really crazy stuff
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
past,
yeah,
if I
yeah.
may say like that.
It's
Uh,
like two oldies talking. Like
indeed.
it's just that, to be honest, because for sure, in 15 years from now, things will be different, and people that started today will start talking. Yeah, we had labs and lab providers, and now it's so much easier because of, I don't know why, but something. Okay,
Tiago and Martin provided us some numbers there. We need
yeah,
to put somewhere, and that was it. The time flies indeed, and time is changing a lot. I really like that you have touched a lot from what you have been working. What is missing to me, Office 365. Did you ever work or learn about that or not? Exchange and Office 365. Because
it's
for me,
like,
Exchange was. I'm asking because for me,
yeah.
Exchange was Tiago made. One by one. If you ask me one by one to take it out, it was really pain for me. The struggle, this, that. Have been working, or if I may ask like that, or teaching?
No, I know I don't teach M365 just by choice, to be totally
Yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
it's just what I said in the beginning. I truly believe we should focus on something so that we can be good on that and be known.
Yeah.
That Tiago is the Azure and now Azure and AI guy. Okay, that's it. Okay, that's why I
True.
want people to know me.
Yeah.
And of course, not that you don't know other stuff, but because it's the same thing I told you before. I don't have that hands-on so much on that. Sometimes I have customers that sure they have M365 and they ask me, Tiago, can you give a look because we're struggling with this? And
Yeah.
look,
Yeah. Yeah.
if I can figure it out, that's what I tell them. Like I don't work that on a daily basis, but if I can figure it out, I will spend like I don't know 2 hours here. If I don't figure it out
Yeah.
in 2 hours, forget about it. I'm not spending you guys more hours on this, okay? Because I don't feel it's
Indeed.
fair for you guys to be
Yeah.
paying me for me to learn this, okay? Um,
Indeed.
and so that's it. That's usually my knowledge
Nice.
on M365. I touch a lot on Copilot nowadays. Okay, on
Cool.
Microsoft
Did you create
Copilot,
your
yes.
own Copilot?
Yeah. I have my own Copilot, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that answers my emails and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, so
Nice.
when people
Nice.
when companies ask me, Tiago, are you available to teach this in this day, in this
Yeah.
course? So I have basically an agent that reads my email through the Microsoft Graph.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then uses and leverages some Azure OpenAI stuff
Yeah.
to answer that. Okay, so as an algorithm first, it's just basically an algorithm that checks my
Yeah.
calendar, sees I'm available, I'm not, checks a list of stuff that I teach, see if I'm
Yeah.
available or not for that. And based on this, it does a bunch of prompts, okay, to
Yeah.
Azure OpenAI, and Azure OpenAI creates a response to that email. Got it? And that's
Indeed.
how it works. And I already have this even before Microsoft Copilot. Okay.
Oh,
So
with Power Automate.
no. It's just
No.
code. Just code.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's just running
Cool.
on Azure. And
Nice.
it just does some of my responses are done automatically by that. I'm not trying to figure it out ways to automate other stuff, but
Okay.
that's always my goal. It's to automate every single thing that I can do. Okay? And AI
Indeed.
is brilliant, to be honest. It's I told everyone, and this is something that I really want to use this audience here to say. AI is not okay a chat application. Okay,
True.
it's so much more than this. This is just this little application that you can have with AI, with generative AI. Because everyone that talks about
True.
generative AI, they do an example of a chat like a support agent or something like that. Look, that's
True.
the worst example that you can give about, what generative AI is. Okay, it could be so much more. And integrating this into application, because then people make fun about it. Oh, everyone says
True.
they have AI on their apps. Look, there's like very cool stuff that you can do. Okay, I run a SaaS application, and there's like one part that you have to describe something that you did, and you have to create a description yourself.
Yeah.
I used a generative AI,
Yeah.
that based on some stuff that you already have in that window,
Okay.
I create a prompt in the back so that when you
Yeah.
click on a button that says generate this through AI, it catches all that data, sends this to the generative AI model, the large language model that we have, and you get a response, which is just that description that you have there. This is a great application of AI. Got it? It's the it's people don't need to know anything about AI. They just need to click in the button, and that stuff generates some text, and then you can edit the text, you can change the text, you can
Change.
make the text more yours. um, there you go. Got it?
Indeed. And
Yeah.
it will not take the jobs, guys. You don't need to worry.
Uh,
AI
it,
will not take your jobs. You can
it's
still
like,
work your
well,
stuff.
yeah.
you
Look,
you just need to keep learning. That is, to be honest, what I'm saying very often, and usually whenever or whatever students are asking, yeah, this and that. Yeah, guys, it's changing. It goes really fast. Imagine if for you guys it's tough because you need to focus on one point. Imagine now not to cry again me and you, but imagine how it is. You get email from Microsoft, this will be changed. Then you need to go to review the material. Then you need to try that it's really working. There is no bugs. And then we need to teach you. So we need to have 5, 6 more steps before you say and just complain,
If you want,
Microsoft this and that.
if you want a good book, read this: Human
Give me a
Plus
sec.
Machine. Okay, it's from Harvard Business Review Press. Okay, it's from Harvard University, basically. This is called Human Plus Machine, and it's a great, really a great book because it kind of details, what leaders need to know and all the
Okay.
opportunities that we have with AI and the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, that we have with this amazing book. You should get this book. It's not that
Yeah.
expensive. I think I bought it. This was an iPad. I bought it on the Books app from
Yeah.
Apple,
Yeah.
and it cost me
Yeah.
like $12 or something like that, or 13
Yeah.
bucks.
Yeah.
And if you like to
Indeed.
read books like I do, I love to read books. It's kind
Yeah.
of, I fly a lot too. I forgot to
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
And that's usually what I do when I'm flying is I sleep, I listen to music, and I read books. Okay. So listen
Indeed.
music and reading books you can do in simultaneous. The sleep
Yeah.
and the other stuff doesn't work out. But I really love to, because you'll learn like a lot with this book, a lot about AI in a
Yeah.
generic approach. Okay, they don't talk
Yeah.
about the
What is happening
technology. Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
this stuff.
It's
Indeed.
a
Indeed.
amazing book.
Yeah.
And
I really.
I'll just like to say
Yeah.
thanks to Igor because he's listening to us and he
Yeah.
just says good
Yeah.
show.
Indeed. I just want to connect the dots with you. Yeah, reading the books, and for me, behind me there is 3 rows with a lot of books. To be honest, a little bit motivational, psychology, and all that stuff. What I found it tricky to find time just to sit and do that stuff. So I subscribe it now. It's not advertisement, but for me it was really useful here in Netherlands, driving the bicycle and all the stuff. It's Blinkist, yeah. So I will put the AirPods or something. Can you just listen about? I know it's a shortened version, but you learn something new, if I may say like that.
Hmm.
Audiobooks mostly, which helps really to gain some new knowledge about this, about that. And if I may say, it's really funny because once you get the thoughts, the summary, maybe it will have a small curiosity about the book. So then you can start reading because there is an option in the application to read the books and all that stuff, which also can help, for additional knowledge and all the stuff that is happening.
No, that definitely. Look, and I think everyone is different, right? Because
Indeed.
for example, I love what you have there, which is physical books, but I don't buy them
Indeed.
anymore. One,
Yeah.
I don't have space for them, to be honest.
Yeah.
And because I already have a few, and then because I travel so much, I'm not going to carry a book with me. Forget about it. It's just not
Indeed.
going to happen. But this is advertisement part. This is an iPad mini.
Indeed.
Okay, it's like super small, super light. Even has a
Yeah.
pen for doing
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
notes. And
Writing.
when I'm training in person, I can also do some drawings and some diagrams here, and then project this. Okay, for my
Yeah.
classes, and I can use it to read books. Okay, it's like you can say, you should have like a Kindle or something like that.
Whatever. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also have a Kindle app on this. And yeah, look, it's not the same thing, but with some definitions, you can actually have a good screen and this can actually work pretty well. And I can also use the same device to take notes for my trainings, etc. And the Kindle is
Indeed.
just for that. And the sizes of the screens of the Kindle, I don't like them. It's just a
Yeah.
personal thing. I have a
Yeah.
couple of them
Indeed.
somewhere, and I
Yeah.
bought them. I bought one. It was too small, and I was like, I don't like this. Then I was in the States. I saw a bigger one, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, I bought that, but it's still I don't use it. See, it's somewhere. Okay, I don't even know where it
Indeed.
is. It's one of my drawers, or
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's somewhere in
Cup.
this office. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Before COVID, I bought the biggest Samsung tablet, to be honest with you. But then I figured it out that my attention, my focus is not there.
Yeah.
So, as you said, it's not a advertisement, but I bought this one. You see, my daughter already put
Yeah.
it's
A
remarkable.
sticker.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
have seen.
Yeah. I saw
Yeah.
it. I saw it. Yeah.
So, indeed.
And you like it?
So,
Yeah. Look.
yeah. basically because the phone, the laptop, and somehow all the notifications, sometimes it's really, too much.
Yeah. Just I forgot to say, this doesn't have notifications on.
Oh, that's a good one. Then I agree with you completely. Basically, that is why I don't buy still tablet for
And
me, basically, or
yeah,
iPad or whatever. It's just because, here you have some lines like Word in 1997, and you can put PDF and basically that black and white. So you don't have anything else, and that helps me, to be honest with you. While I'm
yeah.
listening something or reading, you can take note. And
So
the funny thing, it can be connected with the computers.
there's still some tweaks that I need to do to this because I still have some social media apps on this
Yeah,
with no notifications.
yeah.
And it's like for example, I just got an email, my watch vibrated, but this doesn't have any notification. Okay, so
That's
you
the
get
best
the
that
idea.
we can do it.
Not even email for work,
Indeed.
but I still need to figure it out some stuff on this. Look, not perfect by far, me. I still get distracted by some stuff, but that's something that I try to do. Okay, and
Indeed.
if I need to read a book, if I really want, if I'm in an airplane, it's great because there's no notifications, right?
True.
Because you're
No
flying,
internet.
usually you don't have internet, so you should be
Indeed.
usually you're okay. But yeah, look,
Indeed.
it's great, and like we were saying, look, we are all different. I have people that they might get tons of notifications and they just don't look at them. I don't. If I see a notification, I'm go after it. Okay, yeah.
True.
So
The
my
same here.
computer here where I am, it just leaves on. How do we say focus time? Is it? It's how they call
Yeah.
it. Do not disturb is on. Yeah, focus time, something like that. It's always on, always, because if I see a notification of an email popping up, and I'm like, let me just respond
Click.
to this,
Indeed.
and I boom just go, and then I'm in email, and then I'm just going to answer emails, and that's not good. So yeah, this is how it
Indeed.
works for just sharing. Okay, that's it.
True. I mean, all of us different experience, and I think we can all agree with this technology stuff. Watch, telephone, laptop, whatever they are. Pung, 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 pung. Then I will skip now. I will not mention it. The social networks, all of them have some notifications and all that stuff. So it's a lot sometimes, just for a focus or to not disturb and focus on one thing. And indeed, nice. I really like it, the conversation. I can talk, I think, till tomorrow now, listening to you, and I'm enjoying most of the time. But I will not take you a lot of time. Also, I think I know it's quite late. Also, quite late. I mean, it's 9 o'clock, but I would say it's late. And basically, I would like to ask you my last question for you. What is your takeaway, and what is your best advice for the people that wants to learn cloud technologies now?
Follow me.
That's the best.
Okay.
Enough. You don't need to say anything. I like it. I like it. It's done. We are done. Follow Tiago, guys. That's the most important, I would say. Tiago is always sharing a lot of information on LinkedIn. So
Yeah, that's
basically, yeah,
I have my website. There's like I even wrote, by the way, an article, which is I think it's my last article that I have on my website. I think I shared it last week, which is
yeah,
kind of exactly about this. It's 5 skills, essential skills for Azure beginners. Okay, so and I
yeah.
can yeah,
You
I
can
don't
put in
know.
the chat if you want. Feel free if you can.
It's not working. I think the chat here just let me know, the comments don't allow me to put this, but
If you open the
okay.
YouTube, I would think you can put it
I think
there.
I think I need to open directly YouTube, right?
Yeah. I see on the right side, on my side, basically.
Yeah, but let me just do something here. Okay.
Yeah,
So
whatever is
it's
easier for
basically,
you.
yeah, it's basically easy. If you just go on, follow.tiagocosta.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so follow and then .myname.com, you will get there. Okay, so that's basically it. I can just,
TiagoCosta.com.
yeah,
Correct?
and you have
Yeah.
like all my social media stuff there.
Yeah.
Okay, from I'm now everyone now is moving to Blue Sky. Don't know if that's going to
Yeah.
stick or not,
Yeah.
but I'm
Indeed.
already there for a year and ish, so
Yeah.
start to see some movement now there. Let's see,
Yeah.
if it actually sticks or not. But you can find me there. And look, I usually share lots of stuff around that, and I also have my own learning platform, which is called Learn with Tiago. Okay,
Learn
which is
with
learn. Yeah,
Tiago.
it's the URL is
Tiago
learn.tiagocosta.com.
Costa. Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Okay,
nice picture from you.
and yeah, and basically, I have my some courses that they are free, and
Yeah.
others will be paid, to be totally honest, because the platform, it still costs a lot to run. And
Yeah.
so look, I'm not going to lie, I need to earn money with that stuff, so at least to pay the bill there of the platform,
Yeah.
that's enough. Okay.
Yeah.
If I can get some more stuff, sure, I can focus more in building more free content too. So that's always, I will try to balance, the two things, so that I
Yeah.
can give something to the community,
True.
and then having some other stuff, paid. But we need to kind of balance the two things. And yeah,
Yeah.
so that's a lot of projects, for people that want to learn Azure AI, etc. Okay.
Indeed. And I can finalize, I think, this with guys. I learned a lot with Tiago or from Tiago. So I really recommend the websites that I put it in the chat. Basically, you can follow Tiago also and basically open the websites, of course, and learn more about if you want to gain some new skills, Azure skills, AI skills. Basically, Tiago can help there, and he's always sharing a lot of content on his LinkedIn profile. I must be honest. So you can follow him on LinkedIn. Additionally, yeah, there is a new stuff called Blue Sky. I read it today, by the way, that it's the how it's called, CTO of Twitter in the past. So he
Yeah.
created really the same network like Twitter. I am part of Twitter from 2007. So I catch how it was really no links. It was really, today it's raining in my country. You will write, yeah, there is a robbery here. And the people are reacting from your neighborhood or location or whatever. So now Blue Sky, it's completely like that, which I really like it, to be honest, because X platform went completely a little bit more on marketing, if I may be honest with you, on the business side, not focus on the members, let's call it like that, which somehow that is how I see, because the Blue Sky is so simple, the text platform, you can typo, reply, help somebody or whatever you need. And Twitter, X basically in this case went a little bit on more for influencers, if I may say like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Indeed. Nice.
It was a great pleasure, to be here and just
Thank
have
you.
this chat with
Thank
you,
you.
Martin. Always welcome
Indeed.
to join whenever you
Thank you.
want and whenever you need. Okay, and
Thank you.
I hope that we didn't bore that many people.
No. No, with you it's never bored. Come on.
Okay, but that's
Be
it.
serious. Thank you a lot, Tiago. I'm
Okay.
wishing you a nice evening, my friend, and we will stay in touch and see you in the
Okay,
next
yep.
a couple of months. Indeed.
See you.
Bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.